Missing John Wall for the third straight game Monday night, the Washington Wizards still had a chance to put the Hawks up against the wall in Game 4. In the words of Atlanta's leading scorer in this postseason, Damari Carroll, Game 4 brought a chance for the Hawks to act like a #1 seed. Taken to 6 games in the first round by Brooklyn, the Hawks were looking at a 3-1 deficit dead in the eye if they could not even the series on the road. We go to the phone booth, Verizon Center in Washington. Paul Pierce coming off that game winner, the buzzer beater in Game 3.
Oh, yes.
Oh, old man move.
Mm-hmm. See, step you back.
He was knocking down those threes in the first quarter and 4 for 4 in the first half from deep.
Let's get off the run. And this is where the Millsap, his versatility, bring it up so Teagan able to run. He doesn't have to come back to the basketball because they have 4 or 5 guys that handle it. That looked like an offensive foul.
Oh, it's not
even
offensive.
though it was a dunk. The first part was offensive.
Oh,
Second part might have been as well.
It's called positioning, Kenny.
Okay.
Like that suit need to be positioned in the garbage can.
Oh, no. That was totally unnecessary. That's a flagrant, that's a flagrant 1.5.
Oh.
Versatility, man. That between he and Teague, you know, they actually were super aggressive, Chuck, able to come through. We said Teague is their best player, but he was big, Millsap, today.
Yeah,
Again, right here.
No sign of that flu from Game 3.
Oh, hold on.
He had the flu. He was sick tonight, but it was for the other team.
Yeah, the Hawks only going to go as full Jeff Teague taking.
65-55 at the half.
That's cash.
Give me that.
That's cash.
Damn.
That's cash.
9-0 start to the third quarter for the Wiz.
Oh, that's
and
right.
they pull within 1.
I was like, why is he jumping around? His hand is hurt.
But they could not get over that hump. Paul Pierce for 3.
Tell you what, you know, I always think the first game without really a game, especially at home, without your star is easier. But once then reality set in.
Well, they play hard and play smart. They played together, so it's tough. You know, they play well enough to win this game. I'd say that.
One shot away.
Yeah, they played well enough to win.
Beal had himself a 34-point night.
Yeah, and, you know, Randy Whitman has, you know, I think done a great job. You know, then Will Bynum has come in and gave him some pretty good minutes off the bench.
Look at Teague, who just said, hey, we got to drive the ball in this game, and he takes it to the rim.
Yeah, he was the difference in the game.
He had 26 and 8. 97-90 the count, and there is Al Horford.
I give Coach Budenholzer, he made a nice adjustment playing those 2 point guards together to help speed up the tempo.
Ramon Sessions.
He's done a good job in there for John Wall.
And it was 101-97. This is a cold-blooded 3.
Yeah, you got to step up. You got to make them get to the rim.
Game, set, and match.
Got to make them get to the rim in those situations.
Now it's 104-99.
It wasn't game, set, and match because they came back, they had to cut it to 3, got the ball back off a tough block right here by Beal. They're in the mix. We get a timeout. Ernie, we get a timeout, Ernie.
And the Wizards going to draw one up. Randy Whitman and look at Paul Pierce.
Don't scratch the play, Paul.
Got the nod from Paul, and he's got a great look.
Great screen.
Oh, that's good. Oh, he hesitated, Kenny.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and like I said, I know as a shooter, he looked down at Crowder at the floor.
Right there.
So he could see him out the corner of his eye. That's a tough shot to knock down. Right here, he should just let it go.
I think he was surprised
he was that wide open. Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think he just was totally like, what?
You should have waited for him.
So the chance to tie goes by the boards, and then 106-101 is the final as Atlanta puts it away at the free throw line, and the Hawks have evened the series at 2 games apiece as they come to Atlanta Wednesday night for pivotal Game 5 in the best of 7. Jeff Teague with a 26, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists. Paul Millsap goes for 19. Horford goes for 18. And Bradley Beal in a losing effort scores 34. You need more on this game? We provide David Aldridge.
For after the Atlanta Hawks had thoroughly outplayed the Wizards most of the night, Washington somehow found itself down just 3 points with seconds to go. And the ball in the hands of a man who has made a living rising to the occasion.
Pierce, fall away at the horn. It's gone! Paul Pierce does it again! Pierce for the tie. No good!
It missed. I mean, what you mean it was different? It missed tonight.
But you got what you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I got a great look, you know. way it goes sometimes. You know, sometimes you make them, sometimes you miss.
I thought I was going in, you know. And, I mean, it was a great look, great play drawn up by Witt. You know, they started switching. They were kind of confused, and Paul had a great open look. And the open one's always the hardest one to make.
I wasn't thinking very good thoughts. I was thinking, how did he get so open?
The Hawks dominated play behind their point guards, Jeff Teague and Dennis Schroeder, who got to the rim at will and created shots for their teammates.
I thought he and Jeff were both very good. We could put the ball in either one of their hands and get them in attack mode, get them in aggressive type of situations. And then on the backside, you had a second one that, you know, could play a second pick and roll or get to the paint.
I got a text from Mike Bibby, Nick Van Exel, all those guys telling me just to be aggressive. And it carried throughout the whole team, man, the whole film session about being aggressive.
To me personally, I think this is the best we played all series. You know, 30 assists, the way we played defense, the way we stepped up, the way we helped each other, the way we moved the basketball, the way we set screens. We were more physical, we were more aggressive.
After 3 games of fits and starts, the Hawks may well have finally found their offensive voice. At the very least, they took back home court advantage, and they'll have a chance to take a 3-2 series lead Wednesday at Phillips Arena. In Washington, I'm David Aldridge.
As good as Atlanta has looked as the #1 seed, 30 assists on those 41 made field goals, and Hennessy never stop, never settle. The guy that you pinpointed, Charles, Jeff Teague, coming through in a big Game 4 for Atlanta.
You know, he played fantastic. I look at him as the barometer of the Hawks because he's the guy to get all those other guys involved. He's a terrific player. He's kind of reminds me of Tony Parker. It's almost impossible to keep him in front of you. And, you know, we actually thought there was something wrong with him because he hasn't played like the all-star he has been in the playoffs so far, but he was fantastic tonight. But like I said, I still want to give a shout-out to Coach Budenholzer because playing those 2 point guards together really sped up the tempo. There's a reason they had the most points at the halftime they scored the entire playoffs. You know, subtle adjustments in the playoffs from game to game are a big deal in the NBA. So take your hat off to Jeff Teague, Lil Schroeder and Budenholzer, and everybody on their team played well, but that's the guy who got it going, Jeff Teague.
Both #1 seeds, when they stick to their game plan and play their game, they look unbeatable. You know, tonight Atlanta really got the ball inside, you know, penetrated it well. Because, you know, one of their best players, Kyle Korver, didn't have a big game. You know, usually for them to win, he has a big monster game. But, you know, Jeff Teague, you know, he's the head of the snake. He's playing well. And, you know, Paul Millsap kept saying, we need to move the ball. We need to play defense. That's part of their game plan. It's all about we. You know, people don't forget they have 4 all-stars. So it's a team mentality. But when they play the right way, you know, they're hard to beat. So, you know, the question is, can they continue to play the right way for these next 3 games and do something they've never done, move on to the next round?
Marcin Gortat's had a good postseason for the Wizards, just 3 points, 8 rebounds, 1 out of 7 tonight in the loss.
You know, the NBA made a statement at All-Star Weekend when they put the 4 Atlanta Hawks there. They wanted it to be more about team instead of an individual. So they were rewarding the team just as much as they were those individual players. And to me, it shows when one of those guys, you know, Teague, like we've agreed, is the guy. But when one of those guys are not there, the responsibility that the others have is too much to bear. Kyle Korver is not a great ball handler. So when you have Teague out and he has to handle the basketball, when Millsap is out and you ask Horford to be more versatile and play out more on the perimeter, a little bit too much for him. He's more free throw line and in. So everyone benefits from them being there, and they can stay in their responsibility. So the reward that they got at All-Star Game showed tonight that all of them together collectively make a great team and not individually.
Again, John Wall not playing for the 3rd straight game, and you heard Charles talking about the suit, and you also heard Shaq talking about that suit. J.R. Smith, your suit, though, terrible.
Worse than whose suit?
Worse than Charles'
draft suit.
Charles' draft suit.
JR, I was Poe. I was Poe back then.
Poe, spell it.
P-O. JR, I wasn't like you young guys who get drafted now who have $1,000 suit on. I was Poe back then.